Creativity.
They're easygoing.
Yeah, he has a sense of humour.
Just funny.
Patient with the student.
To me, a good teacher is someone who not only teaches you but lets you discuss, get your opinions. It's not someone who just sits there and expects you to know what they're talking about.
A good teacher is someone who's easygoing and also knows what they're teaching.
A good teacher makes the students feel comfortable about what they're learning, give examples of real life, stories and stuff, making the work enjoyable.
I like teachers to take their time going through the curriculum, not being rushed, so that students can get a proper understanding of the work.
I think a good teacher knows the topic very well, just have a good understanding of the topic before they explain it to everyone. Don't judge the student on their scores, treat everybody equally.
A good teacher is a teacher that is creative, uses different teaching techniques, is respectful towards their students, is a good role model and is well presented and knows what they're talking about. A good teacher would know what they're talking about, studies what they're going to teach well and knows different techniques of teaching it, make learning enjoyable, help the student to feel more encouraged.
Well, I believe a good teacher knows what they're talking about and they're prepared before a class.
They use different kind of techniques to help us learn.
Really understands the student, watching them learn and how they cooperate. If a teacher is confident and enthusiastic, it engages the whole class.
Someone creative and lets you participate.
A good teacher doesn't favour the students.
A teacher who doesn't give up on students is a good teacher. When teachers are willing to spend their breaks to help students out. When they have a positive attitude towards what they're teaching and towards the students as well.
A good teacher is someone who doesn't rush through the coursework and that they take their time to ensure everyone understands the work and they're not just worried about getting their curriculum done.
A good teacher doesn't tell you how to do the task but actually shows you they want to teach, not just have to just because they get paid.
I think a good teacher is someone who is well prepared in their classes and are open for discussions. So when students ask questions, they're happy to answer them. To explain things in various ways, understanding of personal issues, and someone who values PowerPoints and activities that engages students rather than just making us do work silently, because that makes the classes boring.
A teacher has the class under control, who knows the students, the strengths, the weaknesses, and who's patient. A teacher who's well prepared, who is interested in the classwork, who also lets students ask questions.
It has to be experienced, generous with their time so that you're able to email them or contact them outside of class. They also have to be patient for the students who don't quite get it at the start.
I think a good teacher is highly motivated, would try out different teaching techniques to try and get the class to understand. They know what they're teaching and they understand the material that they are teaching. A good teacher also knows each individual student's abilities, what they can and what they can't do.
A good explanation and clear explanation, especially to an ESL student when they have low level of English. They give good examples and clear examples. They give feedback of work as soon as possible. They also correct the work with the students so the student know their mistakes.
First of all, what I think makes a good teacher, they have to be productive and well organised, so they have to be well prepared. They have to understand where the class is at so that they can teach from that point, not go ahead where they're losing interest in it. I think they have to be humorous and happy, enthusiastic and motivating, a teacher that enjoys talking to their students.
A good teacher is someone who's well prepared, organised, is approachable, is able to make learning fun, listens to their students.
Someone who's prepared, enthusiastic, resourceful, understanding and clear.
A good teacher is one that interacts with the students in a way that they can understand, and one that is open and carefree yet strict enough to make you feel bad for not when you do work. Not exactly the punishment that you're afraid of, it's just disappointing them. Allowing us to know what to expect when we're actually doing the work itself, knowing what's coming in the weeks to come, not just at the very moment when we're doing it.
I think a good teacher helps students, all students, not just smart ones, and also be positive. A good teacher don't tease students or yell at students, and teachers should tell us what we're doing next lesson.
Good teacher is someone who doesn't rush through the subjects but thoroughly explains it to us and makes sure that we're all on the same track.
What I think makes a good teacher is someone who teaches interactively with the students rather than just them talking on and on. They use technology to make sure we all understand the topic before moving on. They're approachable. They also listen to the students, listen to what they need and what they need explained.
I think it's different activities. Like, for me, I can't pay attention if the teacher just talks and doesn't do anything else. If a teacher uses different mnemonic devices, because we all learn differently, so if there can be like pictures, like a slideshow, or different activities where you get to speak and listen, and so it's not just a teacher standing there and talking, it's using different ways for us to learn, because it's a bit more exciting rather than just sitting there and listening.
I think it's important for teachers to tell us beforehand what we'll be learning in that lesson, and then make sure they explain it clearly before we actually get into the lesson. After the lesson is over, they go back over it or ask the students exactly what they learned in that lesson, just to make sure we all understand. Then you make sure it's an interesting lesson, so teach in an interesting way as well. Make sure that the students get equal say and equal participation.
Give you a clear explanation of the information. Focus on the task related to like personal experiences and reinforce the learning, and they clarify at the end of the lesson if that you know the information that you meant to learn.
In some classes, when you have class discussions and learn from like your peers' point of view, rather than just hearing from the teacher, reading from the textbook, and you're allowed to go off in groups and learn and do work with your peers.
They explain to the students what they do, teach with some humour. They also show interesting sides to the subject.
They use ways to like make you learn it and make it like stick into your head. They use different teaching techniques each class, and they make learning fun.
Making fun activities, like organising like a way of students teaching other students. They would use different techniques, like use diagrams. They give like acronym, not just write on the board, not only use the a textbook. They would use like other sort of resources.
A must for when a teacher's teaching a class is, well, I believe, is at the beginning to make sure they give you an overview of what the class will actually be about that day. Also to keep track of where the kids are at during the class itself. Quizzing, questions, at the end just double check if they have any questions to answer them prior to homework.
Use visuals to get us to memorise stuff.
And allowing revision time. They also allow you to do different activities.
They use examples that students can relate to.
They use PowerPoints and class discussions to get everyone to understand properly. Teach with a lot of enthusiasm to motivate the students.
And if they're able to explain things in multiple ways, in case people don't get the first explanation. They're not reading straight from their notes, and they're able to go in depth into the concepts. Allows for multiple forms of revision when it comes for tests or SACs, and uses a wide range of resources.
Do little brainstorming sessions, pop quizzes, class discussions, and maybe even plan excursions.
Various techniques like movies on YouTube, and also gives practice exam questions.
Learning from what other people wrote, from others past students, so that we can get a knowledge. I also like practice exams a lot, so that I can get used to what is going to be on it.
Well, they first investigate if we already know things, and then from there they lead us. Use different techniques according to what works for the students.
I love the blazer.
And I love my blazer.
And I love my blazer.
Oh, and my blazer's sexy.
I love my blazer because it's warm.
And I like my blazer.
And I love my blazer, yes.
No, alright.
Oh gosh.